Hello, we are Craig and Janice, and welcome back to Cruising Off Duty. If you've been watching the channel, you know we're doing our summer sailing series. This year, we left our home base of Kingston, went through the beautiful Bay of Quinte, then out into Lake Ontario, where we do kind of a westerly, counterclockwise passage around the Canadian side of Lake Ontario. Unfortunately, COVID closed down the US side to us, but these were all cities and towns we'd never explored by boat before, so we're learning a lot as we go. In the past episodes you've seen, we've gone to more small, quaint towns like Cobourg, then we moved west and went to a bigger place, Pickering, onto an even bigger place, the biggest city in Canada, Toronto, and that was epic. Then we moved on to Oakville. And in this episode, we're going to go southwest to a bay that houses two cities, Burlington on one side and Hamilton on the other. But before we can get into that bay, we have to go under a lifting bridge, which has a bit of an optical illusion and stressed the hell out of Janice, which in hindsight was kind of funny.
I don't like that. I don't like how that looks. Stressful. I don't know. Stress me out.
So you'll have to stay tuned to this episode to see how close we were to ripping our mast completely off our boat by hitting that bridge, and how much Janice may or may not have lost her mind. Anyways, hopefully you enjoy.
Weigh anchor and hoist the sail.
Okay, we've had a nice leisurely sail. Both of us got a shower in, so we feel crisp and clean. So that is, well, actually, this is Burlington, as far as we can tell, on one side of the bay, and then when you go through those bridges, on the other side of the bay is Hamilton. Now, I've driven to Hamilton before, so I know I've been there. I don't know if I've been in Burlington. Maybe I've driven through it and didn't even know that it was Burlington. But interesting thing here, you see that one really tall bridge. That's obviously the highway, and it's permanently high enough that they don't need to do anything to have boats get under it. But there's a kind of a red bridge in front of it. It's the Burlington Lift Bridge, and it's only 4.3 meters off the water, so you have to have it lift to get sailboats and bigger boats through. Supposedly, you go on Google and you get all different versions of how this thing works. You monitor channel 16, and for personal boats like ours, they lift on the hour and the half hour. So I guess we just got to get close and then listen on 16, and they'll say, okay, we're going to open in 20 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. So we're learning as we go. Hopefully you guys get something out of this. If you're coming this way, you'll learn from our possible mistakes. It's just a beautiful day though. Let me show you. Hamilton, I know, is very industrial, but supposedly, according to Janice, Burlington is very, very nice. So we're going to anchor on the Burlington side and go biking into their downtown district and see what we can see. That's it for now. We'll let you know how the bridge thing goes. Okay, we're here pretty close to the entrance of the bridge with about 5 minutes before the half hour, and according to what I read, it lifts for private boats on the hour and the half hour. You're supposed to monitor 16, but I haven't heard a peep out of 16, so now we're like, what do we do now? So we're gonna get closer to make it clear that that's where we're trying to go. There are sailboats and other boats anchored out here on this beach, so I guess you gotta make it pretty clear that you wanna go under the bridge, or you might just assume you're coming to hang out on the outside. We shall see. Our first time through this, so I wasn't sure if you were opening on the half hour and the hour, is that correct? Okay, you're going to see this scene, and it is the realities of sailing. Sometimes you get stressed out and you sound a little frantic, and that's just what happens, especially when you're doing something for the first time. Now, we've never gone under a lift bridge before, and if you've ever had a sailboat, there's kind of an optical illusion where the bridge never seems high enough to go over your mast. Janice kind of freaks out, and I think it's because we saw a YouTube channel where they lost their mast because of going under a bridge like this, and it stuck to her. So now she's going to panic a bit, but in her defense, she's seen a boat get written off like this. She'll explain.
Remember, was that YouTube channel where they jumped the gun and went under too soon and ripped their boat apart? No, it was a lift bridge, but the pilot they hired was impatient, didn't wait for it to be fully lifted.
The bridge splits in the middle.
Yeah.
Raise the whole way, the whole bridge.
Okay.
There you go. Are you recording?
That means stay off the bridge. Yeah.
How high is it up? Is it high enough?
No, I don't know. I can't tell. That's fascinating. It's lifted up on 2 tracks on either side, like an elevator. Cool. That's not what I was expecting.
I think that's as high as it goes, right?
I was expecting one end of the bridge to go all the way up there. It's still lifting. It's still rising. Don't stress me out, no. It's still rising.
Tell me when. I can't see it.
I can't tell either. I can't tell if it's tall enough at all. Like, how am I supposed to know?
Yeah, that's fine.
I can't tell. I don't like it. I don't know, but it's done lifting. I don't like that. I don't like how that looks. Stressful. I don't know. Oh, stress me out. Okay. Yeah, it's like 3 feet taller than our mast. I don't know, maybe 10. Okay, we're done. Thank you. There's the bridge people.
An optical illusion.
Stressful. A stressful one.
Okay, so we got through. You have to go on channel 12 even though on Google or some of the forms that said 16. So talk to them on 12. You tell them you're going through. As long as you're within these cement pillars or these sides before the half hour or the hour, they'll just open it up for you. But you have to be in there. You can't be in Lake Ontario. Anyways, that's the rule. As you probably heard from Janice, they went up pretty high, and I thought that was high enough, but I started to go because he stopped. And then Janice was freaking against an optical illusion that it wasn't high enough. So we waited a little bit longer, and then he raised it like another, I don't know, 10 feet, and then we went under it. It's probably way higher than we needed to be, but you could tell we were a little apprehensive. You live and you learn. It was interesting though.
Yeah.
Now we know.
I've never seen a lift bridge like that before.
No, I haven't either.
Neat.
Right, now we're in the bay. We'll go find
Okie dokie. So this is the Hamilton side. Zoom in a little bit. It's super industrial. One but ugly factory after another.
Now, motoring beside massive freighters like this would be strange to most people, but we're down by Kingston on the Thousand Islands. All these big boats that come from Lake Ontario have to go right by our neck of the woods. So we see them fairly frequently, but they are absolutely mammoth. This one's called the Industrial Skipper. But clearly with Hamilton being very industrial, we probably have boats like this in the harbor all the time.
So we've gotten to the Burlington Marina, which doesn't seem to have opened this year. All their slips are stacked on top of each other on the shore, and the only boats I see are on the hard. Not a single boat has launched here. All these two big docks, they're kind of in a square. All their other little docks would have been fingers off of those, but they're not there. This little bay out here was where we were going to anchor. It's super cute, and that's a nice little park. I'm just shocked at the lack of people compared to all the other places that we've been. And Burlington is a nice town, so whatever.
Okay, we're learning as we go. We are anchored here in Burlington, Ontario, which, unbeknownst to me before this, Burlington shares the same harbor as Hamilton. So this is Burlington. Beautiful, green, lush, a lot of swanky houses. And let's flip around and see Hamilton. Industrial factory, industrial factory, industrial factory, industrial factory. Yeah, not nearly as pretty on that side of the bay. But hey, we're still enjoying a beautiful sunny day.
So we're going to shore in Burlington. We got both our bodies and both our bikes in this little dinghy.
Yeah, it's a bit...
Woo. So we're gonna get to shore and go for ice cream.
Okay, the plan didn't work out as expected. So we left our boat, which is over there. And we headed over to what I saw in Google satellite view as a nice wall, looked like it had cleats. We get over there and they've strung wires across, so clearly they don't want anybody on there. I don't know if the guy, the big house, has bought that land and now doesn't want anyone to use it. So we had to, we saw this little, what looked like a boat launch, and we motored over here with our little weak electric motor. And it's disgustingly gross and green and slimy. So we had to step out into that, and there's, of course, there was about 15 Canadian geese congregating here, so there's goose poop everywhere. And a dead goose, and some dead fish. So, not the most enjoyable spot to come to shore, is it?
Yep.
This ice cream better be damn good to make it worth
it.
Better be worth it. Okay, we got on our bikes, we got them all set up. We biked over here to what was the LaSalle Community Marina, which has no docks. But in hindsight, we probably should have just anchored over here, because look, they've got nice docks that we could have just dinghied over to.
Nobody probably would have cared.
And everybody's using the cement pier as a fishing hole.
And all their docks are on the hard here.
Yeah, over here, there's the docks. So I guess COVID they kind of canceled the whole season because of COVID here in Burlington. And it's the only real marina on this side.
Yeah.
I picked this one specifically because
the Google Map images looked amazing.
Yeah, looked like lots of piers and things for us to tie to, and then when we got here, nothing was open. So,
Yeah.
But hopefully ice cream is open. We're gonna bike there, and then we might move over to Hamilton.
Yeah, just because I can see all the boats are in the water on that side. There's a lot of boating activity that we can see is happening.
From the Hamilton side.
So we feel like there might be more going on over there. So
Yeah, it's pretty dead over
get our
there.
ice cream and then decide.
Yeah. So let's see how it goes. Okay, we've done our bike tour of Burlington, and what do you think?
Not as much happening as Oakville. It's still cute, mostly residential. We biked all the way to the ice cream shop. It was about, whatever, 10 minutes less.
It said a 6-minute bike ride on Google Maps, but probably a little more.
And the ice cream was fabulous, but there was no patio restaurants at all along the entire trip, whereas in Oakville last night, every restaurant had a patio, and the town obviously let them use half the street, extend their patio into the parking spaces and onto the street to really promote their business. And
they did it right. They closed off some streets just to put patios in the street, which is smart.
Not a single patio.
No patios. Even the Tasty Scoops we went to, the ice cream.
We had to go immediately outdoors into the blazing sun and walk all the way around the building to find shade. And
behind the building.
With our ice cream half melted by the time we got there.
I know, it's really hot.
Too bad for them. Yeah.
So there wasn't much to do definitely within walking distance. If you don't have a folding bike like we have, yeah, you'd be kind of out of luck, because this marina is kind of in the residential area. Now on the way home, we thought we'd check this park we saw signs for. It said whatever park, LaSalle whatever park, and splash pad. So I'll just show you. If you have kids and you stop at the marina, you might like it, because there's like all this shady area where you could have a picnic and whatnot, and the splash pad is in essence a very shallow pool with a bunch of sprinklers. It doesn't really match the Oakville splash pad.
It doesn't really compete with Oakville's parks and waterfront trail, no.
But if you have a family and you're a boater and you wanted to stop at the marina here on the Burlington side, this is an option. Yeah. Other than that, restaurants, stores, and that, kind of a long way to go, because it's residential. So.
They seem a step behind also.
Yeah, if it's COVID times, you probably aren't going to see much open. So.
No.
So it's not a ringing endorsement like most of the other towns we've gone to, but we're going to leave here and go to Hamilton.
Right. It seems we can see a lot more happening over there.
Yeah, there's more boats going on over there. That marina's open, and we'll just see. Maybe there's more nightlife over there as well. We might get there before it's dark. So.
Yeah, we will.
All right.
Bye.
Stay tuned. Okay, we're back. We went down that hill, and gravel was a bit of I had to drag my back tire down the whole hill.
Sure.
Janice had to get off and walk it down. It was very, very, very steep from that park. So here's our dinghy, still intact, still here. Nobody took it. Our boat out there. Now let me zoom in a bit, because that's our boat, of course. You see over there, if I zoom in all the way over there, see, I zoom way in, that's the marina over there. So it is obviously open, and every sailboat in this harbor, in this bay, has been coming and going from there. So that's Hamilton. It's a much more industrial town, but it's also a bigger population, so maybe a lot more going on over there, especially near the marina. There might be more stores and restaurants and stuff for people. That's what you guys want to know. Is it worth stopping or not? So we'll go check it out now. Okay, the wind must be from behind us, whatever little wind there is today, because inside the cockpit there, it's like sweltering hot, and the wind instrument says zero wind, which of course is not possible if we're moving at 5.5 knots. It's got to be 5.5 knots to make it seem like zero. So yeah. As Janice has probably mentioned, this is the lush green side of Burlington. Lots of posh homes on the water, and just everywhere we went on the bike, it just looked like residential area after residential area. Quite the opposite over here. So this is Hamilton, and Hamilton's very industrial. I don't see one single house on the shore, and we're heading to an anchor spot I picked out right next to this marina. Usually we pick anchor spots near marinas because at least you can usually find a dock or something to dinghy to in order to go to shore with our bikes. We didn't even bother collapsing our bikes and putting them in the lazarette. We just ended up putting them, I don't know if you can see them through there. There's Janice waving. The bikes are hanging out in the dinghy still in full size. So I don't know if we'll get to biking tonight. We already biked at the last town. We biked at this town, and now we're thinking of biking in Hamilton, but it's been a long, hot, sweaty day. It's got to be like 30, 32 Celsius today out on the water. Just a hot box. We're in a heat wave. We might just anchor and then tomorrow morning before it gets super hot, go out for a bike ride and really explore this area. Okay, we found ourselves a little bit of an anchorage for our own purposes anyway.
Yep.
We're in front of Bayfront Park. Now the problem with around here is it's not, it's like shallow, it's very, very narrow strip of shallow right before the shoreline. So this is a park. There's I guess bike paths and stuff in there, so we'll be able to take our bikes and go explore. The other option was over there in that little bay, but when we got there and we picked a spot for anchoring, we felt like we were right in the middle of a really busy family park, which just felt a little weird.
Stared at.
Yeah.
Fishbowl, sort of.
Yeah, so there you go. There's also, somebody in one of the forums said there's an anchorage over there, and you see one boat way over there by the trees.
And that does look lovely.
Yeah.
But we want to go to shore, so.
Yeah, people watching the channel probably want to know what is there to do around here. If you're over there, you're kind of secluded. You're in the middle of like very foresty areas. So what would you really do other than sit on your boat and enjoy a beverage?
Nature and birds.
Yeah. So that's an option. Maybe before we leave this bay, we'll go over and just check that out, just to see what it's like for you guys. But yeah, this is it. We couldn't find much else, and we are really, really close to Hamilton. So once we get to shore, I'm sure there's lots we can see. Look at all the geese in this park. It is so hot today, even I'm finding the water refreshing. And this bay is a lot warmer than the rest of Lake Ontario, like a lot warmer. It's actually like Ottawa River warm.
Not even, it's warmer.
Warmer than Ottawa River? I don't know about that.
Backyard pool warm.
Well, Ottawa River got pretty warm. Okay, I'm going in. 3, 2, 1. Oh. See, I'm not crying like a baby like I usually do. Actually acceptable. Now granted, this harbor is like lined with industrial factories. So we have seen people swimming and water skiing, so I'm assuming the water is safe. But I might explain why the water is extra warm.
Extra warm.
Extra warm. Little chemical action going on.
Almost not even refreshing. It's so warm.
It is a really, really hot day. Oh, so nice. If we didn't have this, we would have died of heat.
Yeah. It has been steamy hot every single day.
How many times today did we swim? 4?
Did we swim this morning?
We got in the water. We got in the chairs. We've been in the water, I think, 4 times today. Every time we go somewhere, we're like dying of sweat, and we get in the water as soon as we can. Even me. You, it's not a surprise. Me, it's a surprise.
So we had our little refreshing swim.
Yeah.
And then came on board and immediately put up our IKEA bed sheet shade thing. Because I'm done sitting in the sun. I already burned my whole back, and it's 7 p.m. I don't want to have to put on sunscreen again.
Yeah, exactly.
Time to relax.
Get into some dry clothes and sit back and have a cool one.
And drink it.
Yeah. Okay, we have figured out the perfect way to get out of the sun and the heat. So we're anchored. Of course, the boat always points into whatever wind there is, although there's not much right now. And then we have our usual sun shade from, it's a square shade we just get from, I think it was like IKEA or something. It's super cheap. And of course, we just went swimming, so we have our 2 towels. Janice's shirt, but most importantly, our Dodger has the ability to unzip the center, so now we have a nice cooling breeze coming through, which makes a huge difference,
So now that the sun is almost setting, it is a tolerable temperature, and we can hear so many birds on the shore. So we're going to sit in our sporty seat chairs on the bow and enjoy the sunset.
All right, let's break the episode right there, because the next episode we're going to take you on those bike tours of Hamilton, and we were really impressed. I know when you watch this episode, you're like, they don't really like Hamilton. They keep saying how industrial and ugly it is. But that was just our first impression when we came under the bridge. Once we got into Hamilton proper on the bikes, it is beautiful, and their bike paths are awesome. It's just too much to add on to this episode, or it'll end up being like an hour long. So let's cut it there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If so, I'm obviously getting tired. If so, show the channel some love by giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and a special thanks to the patrons that support the channel. Without you, I couldn't do it. Well, I couldn't do it as well, so thank you. So until next time, this is Craig and Janice by proxy saying safe cruising and ciao for now.
Weigh anchor and hoist the sail.